This is not like my usual videos. This is more like a podcast. I'm going to talk about my concerns of subscription services and why I'm not so sure I'm in love with this Xbox Game Pass idea and shift in strategy. All right, let's start talking. Welcome back again, boys and girls. Making another video this week. This is the second video of the week. If you missed the first one, go back to my channel and check it out. I'll actually link it down below. Today, we're going to touch on the subject of subscription services with the fact that Microsoft seems to be leaning heavily on Game Pass subscriptions with their upcoming shift in their goals. I wanted to take a deep dive and see if everybody understands exactly where we're headed and if that's a good thing or a bad thing for us as the consumer. I usually intercut my videos with footage of the games that I'm talking about at the moment. I'm talking about them, but this is going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to sit here and cut footage of actual TV shows and movies of the subscription services I'm going to be touching on. So you're just going to be watching random game footage while I discuss this. Now, from time to time, just to illustrate a point, I will be cutting to whatever subscription service I am talking about. So let's get right to it. We're talking about the Xbox Game Pass and how heavily Microsoft's going to be leaning on the success of their, I was going to say console, but not really the console, of their new business strategy, or their Xbox business division is going to heavily depend on the success of Xbox Game Pass. At least that's what I'm led to believe with the fact that they're not making any Xbox Series X console exclusives, or at least they say that, but they actually are, but they're not doing it that much. Most of the games they make will be available on PC and the Xbox One along with the Series X. And all of the games that they make first party are going to be on Xbox Game Pass day and date. They want your $15 a month and go ahead and play all the games that they come up with. At first it sounds like a consumer dream, right? Like, I'm going to get to play every game and all I have to pay is $15 a month. Take a step back and let's think about where this is going and what this means. Let's just dissect subscription services as a whole and talk about the nature of that business. The nature of that business is to grow subscribers, not sell a million units of a game or a console. It's to grow subscribers. That's very important to remember. And what sells subscriptions more than anything else? Content. And sometimes it's not about quality content or the best content. As long as it's good enough content and there's a lot of it, people will pay to subscribe. I know you might be thinking that's not true. I'll beg to differ and say it is true. How many times have you bought a bundle of anything and you've used every single thing in that bundle? That's very rare. Most of the time we buy bundles that include 8 to 10 of something and only use 3 or 4 of them, and the other 5 or 6 we never even look at, touch on, or spend any time with whatsoever. And in some cases, we use one thing frequently, and the other 2 or 3 not so frequently. And like I said, there'll be 6 or 7 things you don't even touch. That's how bundles work. That's how subscription services work. And that's what makes them successful. They don't have to invest a ton of money in each and every piece of content that they have available in that subscription service. The way the marketing usually works is you pay $15 a month and you get access to 300 or 400 games, including Halo Infinite, which will be the big flagship game that gets people steering or going that way. You start thinking, instead of spending $60 or $70 to buy one game, I'll pay Microsoft $15 a month and play that game and 299 other ones or 400 other ones. That's how they get you in, and that's fine. At first, it sounds like a consumer dream, but now we're about to dive in and talk about the reality of the situation and what actually ends up happening with these subscription services in the long run. First, I should give credit where credit is due. This morning I was watching SpawnWave's YouTube content and he came out with a video talking about the Xbox Game Pass and how that new shift in strategy is probably going to lead to Microsoft not being so inclined to make single-player games where you sit and play by yourself, such as The Last of Us 2 or Ghost of Tsushima or even Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where you sit, you play through the game, and then when it's done, for the Xbox Game Pass, because these games are not games you play for months and months and months. So they're probably going to lean towards making more multiplayer games. They can keep patching or updating with new maps and new levels. Things that'll make you come back, right? And also, they'll probably have some microtransactions involved. Because some of these games, you know, the $15 a month might not be enough and they want to charge you another $1 for skins or $1 for a weapon or whatever it is. Maybe even more. I mean, Halo 5 had microtransactions, so what's to tell us that there won't be any more microtransactions moving forward? So anyway, I'll link to his video down below because he's had a lot of interesting things to say in his video. I'm going to touch on some things that he didn't touch on and things that I know of from the show business world because I actually have a background in show business and working on movies and TV shows. And what I know from that world is that at first glance, when Netflix first came out, you would pay $4 per DVD you wanted to rent, and you can rent up to 3 at a time, and they would send it to you in the mail, and you can keep it for as long as you want, and then you send them back and you rent another 3. And I think each DVD would cost you like $4. Or it might have even been $4 a month to rent 3 DVDs at a time. So it wasn't that bad compared to Blockbuster Video or anywhere else you would be renting DVDs from. And then they started their streaming service, and now we're paying what, like $8? I mean, I'm paying like $8 a month, and I stream all that Netflix has. Early on, it was a rough road for Netflix. They were buying up third-party content left and right as much as they can from everywhere and anywhere. It really didn't matter if the content was good or bad. I mean, you just saw a ton of things on Netflix that you would never watch, but, you know, you'd always find something to watch because they always had those movies that have been out for like 3 or 4 or 5 years that you had never seen, and you're like, that's what I'm going to watch tonight. And then they started making their own original content, which became better and better over time. But with that said, that original content is still not got the budget or the firepower behind it that the big studios make when they make movies like the Marvel movies or the future upcoming Top Gun movie or any a big studio movie. I mean, there's just more manpower, more time, more effort, more talent, and more budget behind those movies. Netflix is more concerned about making pretty good movies. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're bad movies. They're really good, pretty good movies. You got to keep in mind their concern is not to get you to pay $15 or $20 to watch their movie, right? Their concern is not to get you to pay money out of your pocket every time you want to watch one of their movies. So their concern is just that you stay a subscriber and hopefully they gain some new subscribers every month. But they just can't match the might, the power, the finances, the talent that the big studios are going to have because the studios have more time, more money, and everything else. Netflix needs to get their content out, keep filling the streaming service up with content, giving us something to watch, something to say we're going to Netflix and chill on. What's going to happen with Microsoft is they're going to go, okay, we need Fable out by such and such date. We need Halo out by this holiday, so let's just release it, maybe even without ray tracing for now, but we'll patch it. We need this stuff out because we need our fourth quarter numbers to look good and subscription services, so we need this stuff out now. It just becomes a numbers game. Think about it. That's the way it is. Put out a lot of content and everybody will find something, a reason to keep staying on the subscription service and keep paying the $15 a month. Now here's where it gets dangerous because honestly Microsoft can still be making some kick-ass badass games, although I'm not so confident about that after the showcase I just saw, but let's just hope they prove me wrong and I hope they make some badass games because the truth is I'm probably going to become a Game Pass member even though I'm sitting here criticizing it, but I'm not so sure I'm happy about it. But here's the other thing. I'm also a Netflix member, a YouTube Premium member, a Disney Plus member, an Apple TV Plus member, an HBO Max member. So I'm the wrong guy. I'm not the guy who, I buy everything. I'm stupid with my money. Let's put it that way. I'm stupid with my money. But because I'm a member in all of those, and because I have a background in show business, I can touch on a couple of things that have happened throughout the years that I'm scared of happening because of this Game Pass shift that Microsoft is going to do. Everybody thinks this is a pro-consumer move. You only pay $15 a month and you play these games. But here's where it gets dangerous. When Netflix got super hot and was making a lot of money and the stock price started shooting through the roof, you started seeing Hulu. After Hulu, now you're seeing everything and anything. Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, HBO Max, and there's more to come. CBS, I hear NBC, There's more things to come like that. So now everybody's going, well, wait a minute. If these guys are guaranteed to make this much money every month, why am I putting my content on their service? Now, remember that these subscription services cannot create all the content by themselves. Microsoft's going to have to buy third-party content. New or old, doesn't matter. They still have to buy this stuff, right? Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is on Game Pass now, I believe. I don't know. I'm not a Game Pass member, but I looked it up, and it looked to me like it was on Game Pass now. So they're paying Rockstar for the right to put that game on Game Pass now. So think about this for a second. A year from now, 2 years from now, hell, 3 years from now. Right now, Game Pass has 10 million subscribers paying $15 a month. So it wouldn't surprise me that if Halo's a big hit, which I think it will be, and people are going, well, I'm not going to pay $60 to buy the game. I'll just pay Microsoft $15 a month to play the game, and I'll play a bunch of other games. It wouldn't surprise me if those 10 million subscribers by the end of this holidays turn into 20 million subscribers. What's 20 million people paying $15 a month amount to? Close to $300 million a month. Actually, exactly $300 million a month. $300 million a month with 20 million subscribers. That's how much money Microsoft stands to gain by having 20 million subscribers, and they're already halfway there, and that's without Halo Infinite, right? So this is not an unimaginable number to get to. Now, when you think about Netflix and all the money they made, and you start seeing the Hulus, the Disney Plus, the Apple TV Plus, and all these other people who are coming up with subscription services, because they saw the money that there was in that service, what happened? Well, what happened was, now, if you want to watch something from Disney, you can't find it on Netflix anymore. I used to be able to watch Star Wars movies on Netflix, and now when I search for Star Wars on Netflix, it's not there. Because Disney has their own subscription service, so they pulled their games out of there and put it on their own. So now if I want to have Star Wars content, I have to pay Disney $5 a month. So think about that, right? What if Activision decides, well, we have more players playing Call of Duty than Microsoft has playing Halo. Why don't we just have our own subscription service? And it doesn't matter if you're playing Call of Duty on PC or Xbox or PlayStation. I want $5 a month for the right for you to play my game. Now, I'm sure they'll have to work something out with Microsoft and PlayStation to do something like that, but still, they can viably do that, or just decide not to be a part of Game Pass, right? And now you start falling into this situation where, is this pro-consumer in the long run? If people start realizing there's $300 million a month to make from the same games you've made for years, you don't even have to make a new game. People are paying $15 a month to keep playing the same bloody game they've been playing for the last 6 months. Is that really pro-consumer? Is that really what I want from my video game manufacturers and developers? I don't know, because I used to love Netflix, but now because of Disney Plus and everything else, I'm actually not so happy, right? Now I'm like, well, when's Disney gonna put something else on their service so I can justify paying the $5 a month? I'm not just paying $5 a month to watch old Star Wars movies over and over again, or the TV shows. What's to stop EA from charging us all $5 a month to play the next Madden and the next FIFA and the next NHL or whatever else sports game they're gonna make? Not to mention the Star Wars games they make and everything else. What's to stop Rockstar from charging us monthly to play the next GTA 6? These companies see that Microsoft's making $300 million a month with games that are inferior to their own, and you don't think they're going to want a piece of that and find a way to get a piece of that? The other option is that they go to Microsoft and say, hey, Call of Duty has more players than your games. We want to pull Call of Duty out of Xbox unless you let us do our own subscription service, which obviously Microsoft's not going to want. Then they'll have to sit down and make a deal. And the deal will probably go something like, hey, we'll put every single Activision game on the Game Pass also, but we want $1 or 75 cents or $1.75, whatever it is, from every subscriber that you have for the right to put all our Activision games on your subscription service. And what happens after that happens? Well, you no longer pay $15 a month for Game Pass. Now the price is $20 a month. And that's exactly what happens with every subscription service. They all start at the $5 mark and they all go up once they have a ton of subscribers and a ton of content, where now you become a norm in every household. Once the Game Pass becomes something that is owned by 70 or 80% of all Xbox owners and most PC players, you better believe that Game Pass subscription is going up from $15 to, I don't know, $20, right? I think $20 is pretty high, but I think it will get there. That's what happens with all gym memberships. That's what happens with all subscription services. This isn't going to be any different. Stay with me, boys and girls. There's no way the price is going to go down. If we're starting at $15 a month right now, it's only going up from here. And going up from here isn't a long time away. I think it's in about 2 years. You know how they said 2 years from now, we'll start getting some content exclusives? Well, 2 years from now is when you're going to start seeing the real badass games that Microsoft developers are developing. Games like whatever the initiative is working on, and games that other studios that you haven't even heard of are working on. That's when it's going to come, and that's when you'll start seeing or hearing talk about Game Pass price needs to go up to $20. And it's also going to happen for that same reason of third-party developers are either going to want to make their own subscription service, or Microsoft's going to have to pay them a little bit of each and every subscriber so they don't do that. That's truly my fear. And I know Alanah Pearce made a video talking about, I can't believe no one's talking about or praising Microsoft for this. This is the most amazing thing to happen in video games or whatever. I mean, I know she didn't make it sound like that. I actually like her content. I watch her stuff all the time. But honestly, the first thought that came to my mind when I started thinking about Game Pass was exactly what I'm saying to you guys now. I go, whoa. This is a slippery slope. How far is this going to go before it starts hurting us? Before we're paying $5 a month left and right to everybody, unless we're happy with just playing one game or one developer's game all the time, right? This is why I hope Sony doesn't do this. I don't want Sony to do this. Keep having to make great games and counting on 10 million people buying that one game for $60. Earn my $60, which is what they did with The Last of Us 2, which is what they did with Ghost of Tsushima, which is what Nintendo did with Zelda, which is what Nintendo did with Mario Odyssey, and with Animal Crossing, although I know you guys are probably not going to like when I say this, I don't like Animal Crossing at all. All the other games I named, I love. So yeah, that's my response to Alanah Pearce's video. It's like, no, I want them to earn my $60 every time they make a game. I don't want them to make one amazing game, and now I'm paying $15 a month to play that one amazing game, but I also get to play 300 not so amazing games, which I'm probably not going to play, to be honest. Or maybe one amazing game and 5 amazing games that are 4 years old. I don't want to play those either. I already played them 3 years ago, right? Okay, so this turned more like into a podcast than anything else. I just noticed how long I've been babbling, so we're going to wrap it up here, but that's basically all my concerns, and I think they're justified concerns. I think that I'd rather have game developers earn $60 from me every single time they make a game. So it's not about like, let's just make a ton of games and fill up this space with content and not worry about if anybody's willing to pay $60 for it. Thank you for hanging around, those of you who did till the end. Please like and subscribe if you did hang around till the end. This is going to take me a while to edit and post, so help me out. And thanks again, guys. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm justified or if you think I'm probably wrong. Bye.